Let's talk about AI and art. This Ghibli thing, I don't know if you've been seeing all these little animated memes. They look like, some anime style type of memes. There's a famous Japanese cartoonist, I believe, by the name of Ghibli. And he spent thousands of hours making these films, crafting these beautiful animations, only for OpenAI, which is one of the world's largest leading AI providers, to basically ingest his content and spit out and add to their plateau of or suite of things in their AI suite, the ability for you to type in whatever you want and turn it into a meme in the style of that animation. So the internet has been on fire, not only with people posting the memes, but also people arguing about artistic integrity versus theft. The other thing I want to say is now, because AI is so good, you see a lot of these streamers and famous entertainers be placed in situations via AI where they didn't consider them. For example, there is a streamer by the name of Duke Dennis, and because he wore some crop top shirts, now the internet has basically been placing him in these AI videos where he is now the woman, when in reality, like, he has been known and he's made it clear that he's a straight man. And he has been offended by him because he's famous now, people are sending him these things, and there's nothing he can do to control people making them or publicly exhibiting them. What are your thoughts about AI and this new wave of things? And do you believe that AI is large? And do you believe that artistic AI is largely theft? And what are your overall thoughts? Absolutely. And don't say nothing that's going to get the machines to come back and fuck you up once they take over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So fucking me up. I know a lot of artists, especially here in Chicago, and I've grown to try to understand artists and appreciate them and respect them. And I just think that AI when it comes to art, ingesting and taking art and using it to craft art. It's absolutely theft. You know what I mean? And I just think that, it doesn't have to be complicated. I think that when we look at it, without regulation, I think that, we find ourselves in a situation where, the artists, again, aren't represented, and have a voice that is respected. And, that is why, a lot of the things that, OpenAI and other AI based companies and startups are doing, there's a lot of ethics concerns. And so I just really think that ultimately, it for me personally, I believe it is theft. And I think that every artist has a right, if their art was, stolen or illegally used in, that database to inspire or create similar artworks, then no, it is what it is. Because, you're having your IP protected is important. You know what I mean? And we look at it throughout history, especially people of color. You know what I mean? We have not had, ownership and possession of our IP. And as a result, we've lost out on a lot of different ways we could have generated and built wealth. And I think this is another thing that takes wealth from the artist. And so whenever we're talking about theft, I'm looking at the other side of it. If there is a lack of revenue generation, if there's a lack of, the owner and creator of that art to utilize that art in a way that they see fit, then yeah. Because a lot of times what we see in, especially now in, the new AI chapter, and before that, the social media chapter of, technology, specifically in America, is building a lot of wealth with the stealing of data and the stealing of IP. And this is no different when you have burgeoning markets. It's the wild, wild west until regulations are put in place. And by the time regulations are put in place, the fortunes have already been made.
Yeah, and I have a point, not really to disagree with that, but kind of to add to that. I believe that all of this is a purposely orchestrated attack on art. I believe since, I would say, 2010. Not only has the American media, but also the American politicians. And I'm not going to name a side because honestly, both of the politicians have, both sides have claimed that the media has lied at certain points, and the media has been proven to be liars. But also, I've seen numerous clips of 300 reporters all saying the same thing, which to me, like, you know, why you were saying that, because in my mind, to me, it's not art, right? But then it boils down to you getting real technical with the term. And I say that because while you were speaking, I looked up the definition of art. And the definition of art is the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in visual forms such as paintings or sculpture, producing work to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. I do not believe that AI at this point in time can do any of what we just named. So therefore, AI is not the thing that is stealing from us. It is the people that are creating these computer programs. And I've said this numerous times. I do not believe that I don't believe that there is a public form of artificial intelligence that thinks for itself. What artificial intelligence does is not artificially intelligent. What it does is it has access to the entire database that is the internet. And what they have figured out a way to do with these ultra hyper small and impressive micro processors and chips. If you want to learn more about what I'm talking about, there's a YouTuber by the name of Johnny Harris, and he goes into depth about Taiwan and like the whole Taiwanese China thing, and how really it all boils down to microchip processors and people wanting to maintain control of that because they lead the industry in doing that, and that is the company that is called NVIDIA, right? So these microprocessors are able to scrape the internet instantaneously, essentially, and amalgamate and pull together all these things to give you what it believes is the best subset of information based upon what you've given it to like output. That is not what art is. To me, as a lifelong artist, art is not me creating an input and then getting an output from a computer. Even as someone who has created art with computers, right? The art comes from the initial idea of the expression, and then you then go and create that physical manifestation of that thing. That thing cannot simply be done by typing in something into a keyboard and making that thing happen. That is you creating a meme, right? And I think that that's a real, and actually let me look up the definition of a meme. The definition of a meme is an image, video, piece of text, typically humorous in nature, that is copied and spread rapidly by internet users, often with slight variations. Second one, an element of culture or system or of behavior passed on from one individual to another by imitation or other non-generic means. To me, AI is not creating art. AI is creating memes by definition, even though AI can be used in an artistic expression, and I use it myself in an artistic expression. The input in the computer is not art. The input in the computer is me generating a meme, something that people colloquially will be able to recognize and thus be able to like buy into that idea. So even when we talk about this animation stuff, we only know what that style is because this thing existed. It's just a meme. It's not art.
But also I would my rebuttal would be is that the initial thought, ideation, execution into whatever your art is, right? But that's intrinsic to you. And so I'm talking about your process. Like, you can't disagree with me saying your process is your process.
I'll put it this way. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Because what I want to get to is you saying, well, it's an input. But see, the two issue areas is that the way that you argued semantics and process is the way that the artist is devalued and screwed. Is because when it is a way, it can be opinion, but when you're saying,
I don't agree with that. Because I've had artists create art for me only for the cost of goods. The art is not the goods. The goods are just the goods. The art is what that artist makes with those goods.
What I'm saying is like you're trying to put the blanket definition based off you as an artist, but like that is still like your personal journey. When like we're talking about so wait, so everybody went through what you went through? Everybody's process is yours?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, have you ever painted a painting?
Yes, 3rd grade.
Okay, so how did that happen?
I painted it.
No, but explain to me the process of how that happened. And I'll explain to you how that's different than you inputting some text on a computer and it's spitting that thing out and you calling that art.
But
art
also,
is about perspective. What perspective does a computer program have?
Listen, if it generates something that can replace an art, like the ability for an artist to sell something. So you're telling me that if a computer generated something that is similar to this artist's original work, and thus they lost that opportunity to either like for example, let's use like the lawsuits of like when there's plagiarism in a song, right? So like these are two different processes, these are two different artists, and like sometimes some have been said to you because we know that I'm speaking to the cases in which it wasn't clear whether or not it was plagiarism or not. You know what I mean? That's just like the subset that I'm focusing on. If that is to be true, then what I'm saying is like, okay, you're getting caught up because we're talking about two different parts of the process. You're talking about saying, oh, well, AI, no matter what, AI cannot create art. That's what you're saying.
It can't, because you have to have an input.
But and I get that.
Like you can't like the AI doesn't just sit on its own and say, "Yo, let me just start making some random Japanese style art."
Right, but you're saying, okay, well, no, you're not. The AI is not wrong. It's who's controlling it and who's programming it.
No, I'm saying it's a computer program. It's not artificially intelligent. So because it doesn't have a perspective. So therefore, it only generates the input in which you put in to create that image. And once you do that, you are not creating art. You are creating, by definition,
accessory to murder.
You are creating by definition a meme. And that is the reason why I read the definition of art and I read the definition of a meme. And art requires perspective. It's all of the things that led you to be able to be in 3rd grade, to have that teacher place that paint in front of you and say, Dion, paint me a dolphin. Now we go back to every time Dion has ever seen a dolphin in his life. Dion takes all of the times he has seen a dolphin. Now, all of the times that the internet or the world has seen a dolphin, and Dion crafts from his perspective using those tools to create that piece of art, because that's your perspective on what a dolphin looks like. And your son is not going to draw an amalgamation, or my daughter, of what the internet thinks a dolphin looks like. They're going to draw what they believe a dolphin looks like because they have the perspective of having seen a dolphin and how that emotionally attaches to them. So therefore they will paint based on colors. But it's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying, Dion. Think about this, right?
But that's what you said.
No. Think about this. Like I said, describe you painting that picture. And then I'm going to ask you, what color was the dolphin? And you might have said it was purple. And I say, why you make it purple? I'm
asking for clarification. In the beginning, you said you talked about the issue.
Yes.
So I am, for a moment, putting down an argument, and I'm speaking about the facts of the question. You said that all of this is is illegally used to feed information. So right. So then let's go back to what I just said. I said was my perspective of my dolphin experience is then ingested. So it doesn't stop with me. It is used, and you're saying, "Oh well." You're saying,
And I'm
"Oh
saying
well."
that is what makes it not art, because art is your perspective.
But art is subjective. If they call the shit
No,
art,
Dion,
no.
Dion,
People
Dion,
call
Dion,
art. Oh my lord,
Dion,
Oh.
Dion.
Some people think music is art, and other people don't.
brother.
Wait, time out. So wait.
Do we need to read the definitions of these two words
time
again?
Out. Don't wait. Stop. Don't do that. What I'm saying?
No. Because even in this definition, it didn't include music.
No.
So
That's
by
right.
definition, you could be right.
What I am saying is this. I am saying that art is subjective. Art is considered art by the viewer and by the consumer. That is up until now. That is how it's treated. I'm not saying you're wrong in your definition. I'm talking about how it's treated in real life.
And this is the problem I have with this conversation today, because you just actually proved my point, because you mentioned a consumer. Artists do not create for consumers.
Oh my! I'm not talking. No, listen.
No,
stay with me.
Stop.
What?
We can go back into the Renaissance, all of that. A lot of the greatest artists died broke because they did not make art for the consumer. They made art to express their perspective. A computer does not have a perspective. It only has the inputs you put in the computer and tell it to spit out. That's not art. It's a meme. It's not art.
About the perception. You're trying to ignore the perception of what art is. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're trying to use the definition only. I'm using real life, where when people talk about art, I'm talking about the person who experiences it. So let me change consumer with the person experiencing it, because you harped on that where I'm talking about the people who experience it. When we look
I still don't like that, G. Some of the greatest artists became great after they died. That don't mean they made it for people to watch when they was alive.
I didn't say that they made it for.
So you as the consumer don't define art. The artist does. That's what I'm saying.
They define. They have their idea of what art is, not the specific art, about what categories is considered art. That is intrinsic to the person. It is you. That's why people. You just said. By definition, you would be right, because I didn't mention music. But people view music as an art form. I'm not saying that by the definition they're right or wrong. I'm just saying
Google's, and I will say this as a caveat. That's Google's definition. I didn't even look in Merriam-Webster. No, I'm saying I didn't look in Merriam-Webster. I just Googled art definition. That's what the AI amalgamated and came up with as the definition of art.
Right. And so what I am presenting is information to the contrary. I'm not saying that music is or is not art. But
okay, I got a question for you. I think I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
Talk to me.
Right?
Talk to me.
Can you go to a computer and also,
time out.
And in these inputs, inputs.
Before we say this, I'm gonna just say this. You like you definitely in your artist bag right now.
No, because I get what you mean, but I'm saying no one talks to the artist. They only I'm both sides. I'm the business person and the artist. I hire artists, but as an artist and a person that's hired a lot of artists, they don't make art just so that way people can see them. They make it because it is an expression of their perspective. And my point is, a computer doesn't have one. Which if we open up Chat GPT, yo, draw me some art, it's gonna say, well, what do you want to see? Therefore, you're just making a meme. It's not art. You can't go up to a paintbrush and say, yo, I got all the paintbrushes. Yo, make me a painting. I can't go up to the camera like, yo, shoot this video. It's going to say, well, where you want it to be placed, where's the camera? That's art.
I think that I don't.
And my camera died. I'm finna change my battery.
I don't disagree with you saying that there needs to be an idea. But I think that what this conversation is highlighting is the way that AI is used as an accessory to theft. And, I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm starting to, I think I'm starting to
And I'm not disrespecting your opinion. I'm just saying,
no,
as
no,
an
no, no, no,
artist,
no, no, no,
it's
no.
like,
No. I don't think that at all. I'm saying it's like what it's done is getting me more pointed to what my opinion is, which is there is theft involved, and I think that AI is the mechanism that is used to steal.
I
And
agree with
so,
that.
and
I
so,
agree
and
with
so,
that.
so I will
I
say
agree
to
with
you,
that.
I agree that with you that AI is not stealing. What I will say is AI is being used for theft in a way that it is just a grand heist of all of the resources. And again, it's not to say that the artist is creating for the
Yeah.
resources, but resources should be made available to them if their art is either imitated and purchased in a transaction. You know what I mean? Like all I'm saying is like,
You know what their argument is? You know what their argument is?
What?
Their argument is, well, it was uploaded to the internet. It's all public domain.
No, and look, we're not gonna. That's
No, I'm just saying, but that
I agree.
so I want you to understand. I wasn't disagreeing with that point.
Of course.
I just want for everyone out there to understand that there is a distinction between art and computer generated memes, and we live in a day and age in which computer generated memes are imitating art. And the value, like I said, I agree with you. Thus, driving down the value of the art. But the problem is when we interchange those words as one another, that further devalues the art because it's not the art. Like you have to put in to a computer, make a song like Babyface, right? Babyface had to be made through perspective. So the computers are diminishing those artists, and those artists do deserve their, royalties and all that. Like he said, go ahead, give me my money. But so I'm saying that I agree with you. I just want us to change the terminology because that type of terminology hurts the artist, even though we think we're being inclusive of the artists.
But I think, but also what I appreciate about your framing and your terminology is it's a fresh perspective with a clear framework to work with. And when it comes to this argument, I think where we landed is a healthy, reduced, kind of pared down way of expressing the idea, which I can appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like you even reading, art and meme. You know what I mean? To support. I'm with you. You cook. I ain't gonna lie. Cook of the week.
So talk to us with you. We want to talk about leadership being all inclusive. I know you had some points you wanted to make, and then we're gonna round it out with some happier stuff. And I know that might sound argumentative in nature.
Fun. I love it.
Hopefully, no, I'm just saying. I for the people that listen, I know they be like, "Yo, TPJ going on about this," but a lot of the time, especially in this day and age, people have taken nomenclature, which is just the words that we use to describe things, and just mashed them all together, and that's why everything feels so blurred. And I feel like if we start to define some of these terms more openly and more specific, it will help to change the conversation, especially with you being the chief dreamer. People follow you and how you feel about those things. And even though they might look at me as being crazy and an idiot, they still follow you. So they're like, if TP can get the chief dreamer to agree a little bit or be like, that makes sense, hopefully they can change their ways. So talk to